Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angelique. Thank you for checking out this video. I filmed everything with this tutorial and then I went to start editing it and realized that it is like, oh my gosh, it's going to be such a long video if I do it as a one video series. So I decided to make it a like a two-part series. And so I ran back up here and threw on a wig and to film an intro for the first video because I already have one for the second video. In this first video, I'm just going to cover the rainbow side of the look and the like kind of torn away skin part of the look, and then the next video will be like the actual skull part. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the little bell so that you get notified when I upload, and then also please leave me a comment down below. Alright, let's just go ahead and get started with this rainbow tutorial. Okay, so just a couple of things I want to mention first. If you plan on wearing a wig with this look, I would highly suggest putting it on before you do the makeup just because it will be a lot easier. And if you put like the wig on after, it will probably mess it up. I don't know, I'm such a novice wig wearer that I could be totally wrong. This is the first time I've like actually wore one, and so I'm a little nervous about it. But if it looks like crap, then please, all of you like proficient wig wearers, please don't come for me. The first thing I'm going to use is this Tacha Silk Canvas Filter Finish Protective Primer. I definitely want something to be protecting my skin because I'm going to be putting, you know, a lot of stuff on it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, you know, kind of like the skin part where, you know, it looks like the face is lifting up. The reason I'm doing this now is because I'm going to be using this Maybelline liquid latex and I want it to be able to dry. So I'm going to be using this, and then I'm also just going to be using some tissues, just regular tissues to apply, and I'm just going to tear this apart in like little strips, and I just want to do that ahead of time so that it's like ready for me and I don't have to wait whenever I go to do my makeup. Now if you have like one of those little sponges like that makeup artists use, like not a Beautyblender but like a little like wedge sponge, that would probably be best. I don't have any of those right now, so I'm gonna use like a really old like Morphe contour sponge that I have left over, and then I'm just gonna take like this Morphe mixing palette and I'm gonna pour some of the liquid latex on it so that it's easier for me to dip in and out of it. Loki, stop! So I'm just gonna dip my sponge in and I'm gonna try to get like a really thin layer. I definitely don't want to get this on my eyebrows or on my hair because when you go to peel it off, that would be a nightmare. I'm just gonna do little sections at a time so that I can get the tissue laid on there. And I'm just going to press it into it. And then I'm just going to continue to use that same technique and drag that all the way down. I definitely want to feather it out so it's like thinner over here so that it will blend in and look a little more natural. Also, just let me say while this is fast forwarding through this that I am so sorry that Loki is barking in the background. We moved our love seat in front of our living room window and he loves to bark at every little leaf that blows by now. Okay, I'm just going to keep repeating this process. I'm going to build this up and make like 3 or 4 layers of this. So I'm just going to dip this sponge again. And all I'm going to do is put that like right over top. Okay, so while I'm waiting for this to dry, I'm going to go ahead and do like my eye makeup on this side. I also just wanted to let you know that this latex that I'm using, I did get this from Amazon, and I will put a link for it in the description bar. A lot of the stuff I'm using you can get on Amazon, so I will try to link everything below for you guys to make it easier. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and do this eyebrow. I'll probably just speed through this because you guys have seen me do my eyebrows before and that's super boring, so. Wow. Well, if you were not aware of how sparse and light my eyebrows were, you sure are now. I'm gonna have to do an updated brow tutorial. I do have a brow tutorial and I use all the same techniques and everything. There's just a couple of different products that I use now because like some of them they don't even exist anymore, but I will try to link that up above. The next thing I'm going to use is the Louise base. I feel like it is the best eye primer and it gives the best color payoff and you don't have to set it, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to start just patting it into my eyelid. My eyelid. And honestly, I'm also going to take like a little bit of that just to carve my brow out. And I'm just going to pat this in because, you know, that's how you activate it. And I am going to go like right over the edge of that liquid latex that we laid down. I'm going to bring this all the way out here. Now for this look, I'm going to go ahead and prime my under eyes a little bit too. I'm going to take some of that on a Morphe R42 brush and I'm going to put it underneath my lash line. And the brush that I was using here is a MAC 252. Now I tend to get creasy right in this area right here, so that's why I like to use this because it's thicker and so it keeps me from creasing up and it also gives me really good color payoff. But it's really thick, so I don't like to bring it down really far. I usually use like the Urban Decay one to do that with. But I think I might just blend it down some because I put a lot on there. I am going to bring it like right here because this is where you normally would put it on your face. So it's just like if that was not there. And I'll go back later with my foundation and, you know, make that look a little more believable. Now I am going to take just a beauty blender and I'm just going to, you can use a blush, a brush, like a fluffy brush. I have definitely used that a lot, but this is just quicker for me. I'm also going to take a little bit of that to cover up any blemishes that I have because I feel like it's really good for helping to conceal blemishes, and then that way it'll be dry by the time that we go to do the rest of our makeup. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pink shade out of the Take Me Back to Brazil palette. I'm going to use a Morphe JH34 to apply this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start where my crease is and go in there and then just a little bit higher. And all I'm going to do right now is just kind of stamp the product on the shadows. You guys already know by now that this is what I like to do because this is like one of the techniques that I learned when I was trying to recreate Mitchell's look. And then I'm just going to take my brush and do like small circular motions to blend that just a little bit. And then I'm going to take that same color on a Morphe R41, I think. I don't know, it's kind of like faded off. I've used this so much. And I'm just going to bring that underneath my lower lash line and I'm just going to swoop it up to connect with the pink up here. But I'm going to focus most of the product down here, and then when there's just like a little bit left, I'm just going to connect it so that it's you know, not like super strong. But then this way we can see the shade that we're going for. Next, I'm going to go in with this orange shade right here from the Take Me Back to Brazil palette. I'm going to go in with a JH35 brush. And I'm just going to start blending out the edge of that pink shade with this orange. I'm just going to go in with a Vintage Cosmetics Company. It's a step 3 brush, and I got this out of a BoxyCharm, but I'm just going to use this to bring it around that orange and blend it with that pink. And once again, I want it to connect. And then I'm just going to go back in with that pink shade that we used at first, and I'm just going to go back over that a little bit because we did blend a lot of it away. Next, I'm going to go in with this shadow right here, this yellow from the Take Me Back to Brazil palette. I feel like this is turning into just using that Take Me Back to Brazil palette, and that's definitely not what I was planning, but this is just doing such a good job that I don't want to use anything else. And I'm just going to use this to blend out that orange a little bit. Now, same as I did with that pink, I'm going to go back in with that orange again, and I'm going to blend a little bit more of that in. Since we lost some of that shade, I want all the shades to be very prevalent. And then, of course, I'm going to touch up that pink one last time. Okay, so next I am going to use the Urban Decay Electric palette. I'm going to take this really beautiful blue shade right here on the top. I'm going to take the JH41 brush. I'm going to pick up some of the pigment, and I'm just going to start pressing it onto my lid near the lash line. Now, I'm going to bring this up, but I don't want to bring it up all the way to meet the pink. I want to leave just a little bit of room in there to put in like a purple shade. So I'm definitely focusing most of the product down here, and then I'm going to bring it up some. I'll bring it up on my eye to where the pink was the lightest, but I don't want to take it up to where the pink was the darkest. And I do feel like it really does help if you pat the shadow into that shadow base on your lid. Next, I'm going to go in with this shade right here. It's kind of a mix between like a pink and a purple. It's like both shades mixed, so I feel like that's really going to help me to blend this purple or this blue and this pink together. And I'm going to use a JH40. It's a really precise blending brush. If you have the M506, it's pretty much the same thing. And I'm just going to focus that on the edge of this blue and into the crease, just a little bit on the pink. It's exactly what I wanted. Exactly. Now, you definitely want to be very soft with this, just a little bit of product at a time, and you just want to, you know, barely touch your skin with it so that it blends into that pink. And I'm just going to take a little bit of that and just put it right here just so that it blends nice and seamlessly. And then I'm not going to put any additional product on the pink brush that I was using, or the brush that I was using for the pink. And I'm just going to use that to blend that pink back in there a little bit. I am dying over how this is turning out so far. I'm going to take this dark purple shade right here on a JH43, and I'm going to press that up against my lash line like as far as I can get it. So I'm just going to line across my lash line, but I'm not going to wing it. And what I'm going to use is the Jeffree Star Breakfast at Tiffany's Matte Liquid Lipstick. And I'm using a Sigma E65 brush. And I'm just going to stamp that on. And while it's drying, I'm going to go in with this green shade called Equality, and I'm going to put that on my lower lash line. Actually, I'm not. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Ardency In black liner, and I'm going to line the inside of my upper waterline. I like to do this first because before it dries, it'll put like a little bit of black on your lower lash line, and I don't want to do that after I've already put the green on and then it transfers onto the green. I want that green to be like super vibrant. So I'm going to go back with that Sigma brush, and I'm going to put some of that Equality liquid lipstick on the end of it, and I'm going to be very careful about pulling this down because I don't want to pull this off. But you can see there where it has already, like, the black has transferred. Clean that off a little bit. I really wanted green on my waterline just because my eyes are green, so it just really helps to bring that color out. But if you want to use a different color, then you can. If you want to use a different color than the blue up here, you can. You can change this and make it into whatever you want to make it into. That's the fun thing about makeup. There are really no rules, and I hate it when people say that there are. So for highlighter, I'm going to go in with the first shade in the Jaclyn Hill palette called in Lite, just because that's the palette that I have next to me that has a highlight shade in it that I like. I'm just going to pat that and then blend it a little. Okay, so next I'm going to throw on some lashes and mascara, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so my lash is on, and I'm going to go ahead and work on the rest of my face. For foundation, I'm going to mix these two shades because I am really light right now, but this one's a little too light and this one is a little too dark. So I'm going to mix more of this and a little bit of this. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation in the shade 2, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me in shade 120. And what I'm going to do is just pump some onto that Morphe palette that I've been using. And I won't need a whole lot because I'm only going to do like half of my face. I'm going to take a Morphe MB10 and mix those together on that palette. And I'm just going to start applying it here. You know, if you followed me, that I like to focus my foundation on the center of my face and then blend it out. And I do want to go over this liquid latex because I want it to match my skin tone. Okay, I'm just going to take my Beautyblender and I'm just going to pounce it over that liquid latex and then blend it out onto my skin. And I'm not going to go all the way up to my eye, but I am going to try to get a little bit close and use the point of this to get like right in there. And see, if you focus the foundation on the center of your face, then by the time you get over here, it's like all blended out and it doesn't leave like any harsh lines. And I'm going to go all the way up here to like even where that wig line is. Go over that even a little bit just to make it, make it look more natural. Like I said, I'm such a novice at wigs. Now I am going to go in with a little bit of that lighter shade just to try to blend this out a little better, because I feel like the dark part of it is like coming through. So you guys know that my favorite contour is the KKW cream contour sticks, so I'm gonna stick with that. So I'm gonna use. I'm going to take just a little bit of this Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I'm going to use that to just carve that out down there a little bit as you would with setting powder, but you guys know by now that I don't really like to put a lot of powder products on my face. I'm going to put a little bit on there today. I am going to do a little bit of a powder contour just to set this because I'm filming for a long time, and I'm just going to take this JH02 brush and I'm going to go in with that shade just a little bit on my brush, and I'm just going to, you want to be careful using anything around that liquid latex because it does want to lift up a little bit. And then I'm going to use like regular blushes today instead of like a liquid blush. And I'm going to take these, I'm going to mix these two Kylie Cosmetics blushes in the shades Barely Legal and Virginity. Okay, so for my inner corner, I'm going to take a little bit of this like yellowish green color in the Urban Decay Electric palette. And I'm just going to press like a little dot of that right in there. So I want to add like some little green, like a little green jewel in the, just in the center, just to make this pop a little bit more. I mean like right in the corner of my eye. So I'm just going to put like a little dot of eyelash glue there. Now this is just like a nail jewel, like the, you know, you put on your nails when you get them done. And I also got those from Amazon, so I will link those down below as well, if I can remember to link all this stuff. Now, so that that's not just sitting there by itself, all lonely, I will put like a couple of really tiny jewels, and I also got these from Amazon. If I can find them, I will link them below as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with highlighter, and my favorite one at the moment is the Jeffree Star Liquid Frost in the shade Canary Bling. I'm going to apply that using a JH08 brush. I'm not going to bring it right here because I don't want to accentuate that. And then once I get it laid how I want it, I'm just going to blend it. And then I will take my beauty sponge and just kind of press it in. Okay, I'm going to add a little setting spray just to this side of my face.